Guy Satley, first, next one.
Yes.
Why, with all the lands that the borough has, are they negotiating with the railroad for a new building for the school food program?
Well, first of all, there's a need for a change in the building for the school food program because the current one is located on Eielson Air Force Base, and hot meals apparently are prepared in this kitchen on Eielson and then trucked to all the other schools that serve these meals in the entire district. How that came about 10 or 20 years ago, I really don't know, but it's patently ridiculous, and the facility needs to be in some central location. The mayor negotiated this deal with the railway to put the kitchen in the railway industrial area adjacent to the school physical facility, the plant in the railway industrial area that maintains all the school buildings. The public works for the school district, whatever it's called. It is apparently a good deal, and I have not been on the assembly for the last year, so I only know the high points of it. But the borough doesn't really own appropriately zoned and appropriately designed land in the center of the borough. Most of our borough land, and we've got between 90,000 and 100,000 acres of land, most of it is outlying land 10 or 20 miles, 30 miles from the center of town. And our land management outfit under Paul Costello is disposing of this, designing small subdivisions, selling. They've got a sale coming up, I think, next month. There's three big parcels that are being sold for development. The theory this year is that they're going to sell 50, 60, 80 acre parcels to developers who are then going to get an incentive to chop it up and develop it on their own. That's an interesting approach. I think I'd rather have them sell 5 or 10 acre parcels. But apparently there is not appropriate land that the borough has that would be suitable for this kitchen facility.
Okay. Mark Ames.
Well, to answer the question, a unique geographical location. Thank you for the opportunity of answering this question.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Hopkins.
Well, there was a report that analyzed the options for a central kitchen relocation to as it says, or as others have spoken to, a central location that cuts down on the expense of transportation and other issues. And it pointed to that piece of land that is already utilized by the school district, and to add on to that space would provide efficiencies that either securing other pieces of land around the urban area that are owned by others, or the other idea of trying to develop a piece of borough land that, as Mr. Sapley said, is located well outside of the radius of efficiencies. All pointed back to this piece in the railroad property, and it is, I think, the most beneficial for both the school district and the borough that, of course, owns the assets for the school district.
Okay,
That's how we got there.
Okay, Dave Miles.
I got a great idea where we could cook the food for the schools. In the schools. Each school could have their own kitchen. Kids could learn how to cook. Schools could have gardens. They could grow their own food, cook it there. You don't want kids just being book learned. You want them learning how to do stuff. And they could learn how to cook in their own schools. Where I grew up in Wisconsin, a small farming community, they had farm wives that would come in for just a couple hours a day in the middle of the day to cook the food and serve it, and that was extra income for them. We shouldn't have a central food kitchen. This puts us at risk for disease or other things, or a pandemic. We want each school to be somewhat independent. So if there is some kind of problem like that, the other schools would have to shut down if there was a problem at one school. So I'm against the idea of having a central kitchen. As far as the borough land, yes, we need to address a lot of land issues to make it available. Thank you.
Okay, Howard, there it is.
Thank you. I didn't vote to support the central kitchen in the railroad area. To me, it just doesn't make sense that you would be preparing food in an area that may at some point have hazardous waste or may have an extreme accident from the railroad. And I would like to see the railroad go to the southern route and try to get out of our community. By agreeing to put the central kitchen downtown in the railroad industrial area, just continues to use that area when we don't need to have that area in downtown Fairbanks. It's a prime location, and I think we should be using it for other uses. I think that we could have traded land in the borough for a developer and maybe given them our borough land, and we could have tried to find some other location. I do agree that it's important that it is in the location of the center where most of the schools are, because it's very expensive to transport the food. And I like Day's idea of letting some of the children learn how to cook in the school, and I think that we wouldn't have such an obesity problem if children understood what their food is composed of and where it comes from, and if they grew it themselves. Thank you.
Okay,